Archangel Michael says I order you to open this right now. This will happen in 3 seconds. Open it. You felt it before you saw it, the stillness that wasn't peace but the cold pause before something breaks. The air thickened like smoke without fire, and your spirit twitched as if gripped by unseen fingers. The breach had already begun long before the silence fell, threading its way into your life like a crack through ancient stone. The betrayal started with a whisper, not a scream, nestled in the breath of someone close to you. You didn't hear it, but your soul recoiled, recognizing the sound of falseness buried beneath friendly tones. A presence that once radiated warmth has grown colder, moving through your world like a shadow dressed in familiar skin. Archangel Michael says the watchman failed you, but heaven did not. There was a moment, subtle yet divine, when the atmosphere changed and you were marked, not for destruction, but for awakening. What stirred against you has already struck others, cloaked in charm but designed to wound silently, deeply. There are wounds you carry that you cannot remember receiving, burdens not born of your own doing. And yet, they weigh down your path, pulling you toward places you never intended to tread. This is not coincidence, it is a crafted interference, shaped by hands pretending to love you. The moon trembled behind torn clouds the night your spirit cried without your lips moving. That was the signal, the first alignment that told heaven what had begun. Your name pulsed in the halls of the divine, and angels turned to listen, not out of pity, but preparation. God says the time of soft warnings is over. This is the hour of forced awakenings, when light exposes what darkness has bred in silence. The ones who walk among you wearing peace like a mask will begin to twitch under its weight. There is someone who stands at your threshold, who speaks kindness with lips that hide envy. They are close, too close, and they do not belong. Their hands once touched your life in help, but now they reach toward it in hunger. This presence has carried secrets like poison soaked in perfume, hoping your senses would never catch the scent. But you have felt it lately, in your restlessness, your sudden fatigue, your confusion without cause. These are not random. Archangel Michael says the chain around your ankle is spiritual, not forged by man. It was fastened quietly during a season of vulnerability and disguised as love or loyalty. And it has tightened with every step you've taken toward purpose. You were being monitored, not protected, by someone who claimed to guard you. They watched for weakness, not to shield you, but to feed off the cracks in your trust. Their silence was not reverence, it was calculation. This is why the mirrors in your house have felt strange lately, as if watching you back. Why you felt eyes in the corners, even when alone. These are not hallucinations, they are the consequences of proximity to tainted intention. The unseen cords are beginning to unravel, but they do not go quietly. There is resistance in the realm you cannot see, clawing to maintain its grip. The spiritual web tied around you is burning at its edges, and the one who cast it is beginning to feel heat. God says this was never meant to be your prison. The place you are in now, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, is a pit constructed by hands disguised as help. You were given tools to climb out, but they were buried under obligation and guilt. There is a room in your memory you've refused to open, a moment you've sealed shut with disbelief. But that door is rattling now, and the lock will not hold much longer. What's on the other side isn't meant to hurt you, but to show you who's been hiding. A sound will soon repeat in your life, 3 sharp disturbances in rapid succession. When you hear it, understand, that is the shattering. That is when what has been hidden will fall into the open. You've been followed in spirit, not by strangers, but by one who used to smile beside you. Their energy moves like fog, soaking into your dreams, disrupting your balance. They do not know they are now being watched in return. Archangel Michael says judgment does not always scream, sometimes it whispers and lets truth do the bleeding. This is that time. The slow peeling away of illusion will not spare the one who bound you. You may feel a sudden pulse in your chest in the coming hours, a divine signature, a seal being opened. That will be the sign of authority being restored. What was taken without right will be returned with divine fire. The atmosphere around your house will shift, and you will notice something you've never seen before, an object, out of place, trembling ever so slightly. Do not touch it. It is the residue of the confrontation in the spirit realm that's already begun. There will be footsteps in your hallway when you know no one is there. Do not fear them. They are the echoes of spiritual confrontation, the sound of angels displacing the intruder's residue. God says your inheritance was interfered with, delayed by hands that pretended to guide. That delay ends now. You are stepping into a phase where illusion breaks under pressure and truth explodes from silence. Your hands may begin to feel warm unexpectedly, as divine energy returns to you. That heat is not natural, it is the undoing of what was bound. Power you thought you lost is waking up beneath your skin. A shadow figure may appear in your peripheral vision in the coming days, then vanish. That is the spirit that was sent to watch you, now unmasked and losing its ground. Do not chase it, it is already condemned. The betrayal that started with silence will end with thunder. The one who planned to bind you will be publicly exposed, not by your hand, but by divine force. This is only the beginning of what they will lose. The silent breach has failed. The walls are speaking now. The moment the veil began to tear, the sky itself rebelled. Thunder rippled across a cloudless night, and stars flickered like candles exposed to a predator wind. You felt it ripple through your bones, a sensation both foreign and familiar, as though something ancient remembered your name. Your dreams have become strange, haven't they? Filled with doors that open to nowhere, eyes in places they don't belong, echoes repeating words you don't remember hearing. These are not dreams, they are visitations, warnings, keys slipping through spiritual locks. Archangel Michael says the veil is not just thinning, it is fracturing beneath the weight of delayed justice. Realities are bleeding together because something sacred was tampered with. Someone tried to rewrite your destiny by walking through your timeline uninvited. They stepped in while you were distracted by pain, by survival. They bent moments, turned people against you subtly, shifted your atmosphere to misalign your path. It wasn't magic, it was manipulation laced with spiritual theft. That's why your memory stutters in certain moments. Why you recall things differently than others do. Time around you has been tampered with, warped just enough to displace you from the door marked with your blessing. God says the tear is mercy, not punishment. You were not going to find your way back without divine interference. What is coming is not chaos, It is course correction sent from a realm that refuses to watch you waste. You will begin to see things. Not visions, not hallucinations, remnants of the realms colliding. Flashes of light in strange corners, figures that vanish when you turn, voices humming just beyond hearing. A bird may fall from the sky in your presence, its body whole, its life inexplicably gone. That will be a sign. A sacrifice that marks the veil's wound and heaven's entry point into your battlefield. Archangel Michael says angels have already stepped through. They are not visible yet, but their presence is heavy, and the atmosphere cannot hide them much longer. The smell of ozone and iron in the air is not weather, it is warfare. You felt watched, but the watching has changed. What once drained you now flees from you. What once clung to your aura now recoils. There is a mirror in your home that no longer reflects accurately. You've noticed it, subtle shifts, colors that don't match the room, reflections that seem a heartbeat behind your movement. That mirror caught the moment the veil split, and it remembers. Objects in your house may begin to move without cause, small, deliberate displacements. They are not tricks of the mind. They are spiritual collisions manifesting through matter, signals that the invisible realm is no longer distant. You were never meant to live in two dimensions. Your soul was constructed to walk in time and above it. The veil wasn't to keep you out, but to keep the enemy from dragging you back into chains. That enemy has grown bold, and its scent is thick in the places you once felt safest. That's why the familiar has become uncomfortable, why faces once soothing now strike discomfort deep in your gut. Your spirit is screaming because truth is tearing through illusion. God says the fabric of pretense has been ripped open. No more pretending. No more playing polite while your essence is bled dry. The house you dwell in has become a spiritual courtroom. The floor beneath you has recorded every betrayal, every silence, every word spoken behind your back. That is why certain rooms feel heavier than others, they are holding evidence. In 3 days' time, the veil will swing open wider than ever before. You will not recognize the air around you. The heaviness will lift and then drop again, and with it, something once hidden will make itself known. Be ready to feel disoriented. This is not confusion, it is alignment forcing out lies. Your body may shake, your dreams may blur into waking hours, your voice may tremble without cause. Archangel Michael says a confrontation is near, not with flesh and blood, but with what hides behind it. The spirit behind the eyes of the deceiver cannot stay silent much longer. It will speak, and when it does, it will expose itself in ways that can never be concealed again. A scent may invade your space, a fragrance that doesn't belong to anything you own. It may smell like burning sweetness, like crushed flowers and fire. That is not perfume. That is presence. There is an altar that was erected in secret, by someone you know. Not stone, not wood, but acts, intentions, thoughts. You were the subject of its design, and now its foundation is cracking. God says you have unknowingly walked through curses meant to kill you. But the power sent against you bounced back into silence, confused by the light that cloaked you. That light is divine insurance, placed on you the day you were chosen. The strange noises that come when you speak aloud your truth are not coincidences. You've noticed it, the flicker in the lights, the ringing in your ear, the pressure in the room. That is spiritual resistance, trying to keep you silent. But your voice is the key. Every syllable you speak in truth now unhooks one more tether holding your destiny hostage. Let your words pour forth. Let your truth echo through the halls where deception once ruled. A clock may stop in your presence. That will be confirmation. Time has paused to witness your emergence. Archangel Michael says no weapon formed in secret will remain hidden. This is not just revelation, it is reversal. What was sent to delay you is now the very evidence used to promote you. You will see someone stumble soon, not physically, but in truth. They will contradict themselves, betray their own web with a single word. That is your cue. The veil has torn for you to step forward. You will stand in a place soon where you feel like everything is spinning. Do not move. That is your axis being realigned, your name being repositioned in heaven's scroll. There will be a ringing, 3 tones, clear and unbroken, in your ear. You will hear it alone. That is the divine call summoning you to the next chamber of truth. This veil is torn not to frighten, but to free. Step through. The earth beneath you holds secrets it can no longer carry. Roots have twisted around lies buried deep in bloodlines and alliances. Now, like bones pressing through soil, those truths are rising to the surface. You have felt it in your relationships, a strange coldness, unexplained distance, sudden silence where warmth once lived. That isn't imagination. That is betrayal cocooning itself before it ruptures. There are those close to you who were never meant to stay close. Their presence was permitted for a season, but they have overstayed their divine deadline. And now the light is catching the shadows on their faces. Archangel Michael says there is one among you whose smile is carved from falsehood. Their affection was a mask. Their encouragement was laced with envy, and their silence was permission for harm to reach you. God says the exposure will not come gently. It will break through like a storm through stained glass. Beautiful, messy, impossible to ignore. A name will be spoken in your presence, and when it is, something deep within you will freeze, then ignite. You won't need confirmation after that. The atmosphere will change. It will tighten like a breath withheld, like the sky before a lightning strike. This person has been whispering about you in rooms where your name was currency. They traded your peace for attention. They leaked your wounds into the hands of the unworthy and called it concern. You were watched, dissected, analyzed by someone who claimed to love you. They copied your movements, studied your patterns, even tried to speak like you, because they wanted to become what you are without carrying what you endured. Their time is up. The next time you walk into the same room as them, the lights may flicker. The space will hold tension, thick and sudden. That is the spiritual realm warning you, the serpent is nearby. They may stumble when they speak to you, or suddenly seem too interested, too warm, too eager. That is fear in disguise. They feel the shift but don't understand it. Archangel Michael says their secrets have reached heaven's ears. A scroll was opened, and their name was found beside words never meant to belong to you. Slander, jealousy, delay, treachery. You may feel nauseous when they are near now. That's not illness, it's your spirit rejecting the falsehood. Your body knows what your heart is still trying to protect. A photograph you once loved will no longer bring you peace. That is the divine signal to remove it. Objects carry frequencies, and that image is tethered to a betrayal energy now revealed. You'll notice that electronics behave oddly around you when you think about them. Texts glitch, screens freeze, calls drop. The spirit realm is trying to interrupt the transmission of illusion. There was a conversation that happened about you in a place you've never entered. Your name was used without reverence. That echo is still trying to reach your ears, and soon, it will. God says there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed now. The season of exposure is not vengeance, it's liberation. You cannot carry divine fire while being tethered to someone who dances with your enemies. They were warned. Quietly. Spiritually. They were given dreams they ignored, signs they mocked. So now heaven moves, and the time of subtlety is over. You will not need to confront them. You won't need to fight. The confrontation will come to you. It will unravel in front of others, words slipped, eyes betrayed, timelines shattered. Someone will mention a detail you never shared publicly. That moment is not random. That is your divine receipt. Your truth is about to be authenticated in full view. Archangel Michael says this betrayal was permitted to a point, because it was building your discernment. But now it threatens to poison your garden, and the weeds will be uprooted. You may grieve. That's allowed. But don't let sorrow cloud your clarity. This is a holy separation, a divine eviction of those who never belonged past your last breakthrough. Their intentions cannot hide in this light. You will look back and realize you felt it all along. Every missed call, every dismissive glance, every compliment laced with venom. Watch for the apology that never comes. That silence is its own confession. And when they finally speak, it will not be repentance, it will be panic. Your strength has become unbearable to those who thrived in your weakness. Your healing exposes what they refuse to face in themselves. God says your loyalty was never your flaw, it was your weapon, your signature. But now your loyalty must shift toward your own calling, your own freedom, your own clarity. There will be a day, very soon, when you'll walk into a room and feel a sharp chill on the back of your neck. That is spiritual surveillance, the betrayer watching you, fearing what you've learned. Archangel Michael says you will be vindicated without rage. Divine justice doesn't scream, it reveals, and what is revealed cannot be denied. You'll know you're close when animals act strange around you. Birds circling, dogs barking without reason, cats staring into corners. They see what eyes can't yet, and they warn you. You may be tempted to hold on to the history, the laughter, the shared memories. But let those things pass like mist. They were beautiful, but they were built on a foundation that has now crumbled. The mirror you once stood before together may crack. A dish may break in your hand. These are signs, not omens of fear, but confirmations that the false covenant is disintegrating. God says no lie can survive the light that now surrounds you. What was done in hidden bitterness will be burned in open glory. You are being separated, not punished. You are not losing someone. You are being unchained from something. Their departure will feel loud, even if no words are spoken. But afterward, you will breathe differently. The pressure will lift. The night will feel less suffocating. And in the silence that follows, heaven will speak again. The air will shift before anything physical breaks. You will wake up one morning and everything around you will feel unfamiliar, even though nothing has moved. That is the trembling of the unseen world, adjusting itself for what is about to unfold. The shaking is not just in the earth, it's inside your bones, your spirit, your bloodline. Cycles are being cracked open by divine command. The very structure of what held you stagnant is now splintering under the weight of your rising. God says this is the appointed disruption. The shaking may feel violent, but it is divine reordering. What was built on false foundations must collapse before truth can reign. There will be confusion around you. People you know will seem panicked, scattered, erratic. But you must remain still in the storm, because what is chaos for them is alignment for you. Objects may fall from shelves. Lights may flicker without cause. These are not accidents, they are evidence that what's around you is being purified, sifted, stripped of everything that no longer carries divine resonance. You'll start hearing things that weren't meant for your ears, conversations whispered through doors, information you weren't supposed to find. That's not coincidence. That's heaven delivering evidence. Archangel Michael says this shaking will be loud, because it is the sound of deception shattering. You will recognize who was real and who only acted. Masks will fall without hands. Some relationships will break suddenly, violently. You may feel guilt for the exit. Do not chase after what divine power has cast out. You might lose sleep, not from worry, but because your spirit is adjusting to the weightlessness of no longer being bound. Freedom is not always gentle, it can shake your soul until it remembers who it is. The dreams will return stronger, sharper. You'll see faces of people you've forgotten or ignored. They carry messages, symbols, warnings, each dream a prophecy wrapped in riddle. The shaking may take physical form. A sudden job shift, an unexpected departure, a legal notice, a cancelled plan. But each disturbance is part of the divine extraction. God says you are not being punished, you are being recentered. What you thought was stability was actually stagnancy. Now you are being placed in a position that fits your divine design. The floor beneath your comfort zone is cracking. It will force you to move, and when you do, you will step into terrain prepared for your true inheritance. Archangel Michael says the angels are stationed, not to shield you from the shaking, but to guide you through it. You must walk through this collapse without turning back. You will notice time acting strangely. Hours feel stretched, then suddenly vanish. That's the timeline adjusting itself around your obedience. Kairos moments are now overtaking Chronos time. You'll walk into places you've been hundreds of times, but this time it will feel off, almost wrong. That's because your spirit no longer belongs there. You've outgrown it. People may suddenly oppose you without cause. That's because the spirit within them recognizes the fire in you now threatens the comfort of their shadows. Electronics may fail in your hands. Phones won't connect. Signals may drop. That is the interference of divine transition. The human world cannot always carry divine frequencies. You'll be guided to clean. Suddenly and forcefully. Closets, drawers, attics. As you release what's been stored, the atmosphere will lighten, because energy clings to dust and memories. A specific object will no longer bring peace. You'll be told in spirit to discard it. That is an idol, a tether, a spiritual tracker. It cannot go where you are going. The shaking is strategic. You may be moved geographically. Cities, addresses, homes, some places are being marked for exit. Not for exile, but for upgrade. God says the doors you thought were locked forever are about to unhinge with a sound that will echo through your future. You will step through, trembling, not with fear, but recognition. You've seen flashes of this moment in your visions, hazy glimpses, unexplainable déjà vu. That was divine foreshadowing. You are now walking into the fulfillment of what your spirit rehearsed. Archangel Michael says your voice will be needed now more than ever. What you speak will create, what you declare will rearrange atmospheres. Guard your tongue like a blade of light. Even the weather may respond. Unseasonal winds, sudden storms, heat in the wrong month. Creation obeys heaven's timing, and it is aligning with your shift. The past may try to revisit. Old contacts, former lovers, expired friendships. Do not answer. That is the test. Can you ignore the ghosts of comfort to claim the fire of calling? You'll feel a sudden pull to write, paint, sing, build. That is the prophetic urgency in your bones. What you release creatively will also release others spiritually. God says this is the part where many turn back. But you will not. You have endured too much to collapse on the threshold of glory. The shaking may hit your finances. But even in lack, you will see strange provision. Money arriving from lost accounts, refunds, gifts, things delayed being released suddenly. There will be a moment of silence in the shaking, as if the world itself inhales. That is the eye of the storm, where the divine decision seals your next chapter. You will feel as if you're walking through fire. But you will not burn. Because fire is your element now. It no longer consumes, it forges. Archangel Michael says this is your reckoning season. The reckoning is not your destruction, it is your unveiling. Everything false is falling away so your truth can stand unchallenged. You will see signs in threes, birds, numbers, movements, colors. That's not mysticism. That's structure. Heaven speaks in patterns, and now you are attuned to hear. Someone will try to provoke you, to pull you into old patterns, arguments, fights. Stay silent. Your silence will be more terrifying than your retaliation. Your reflection will look different to you now. That's because the spirit behind your eyes has changed frequency. You are no longer merely human, you are awakened. God says your hands will now hold power to build or break, to bless or bind. Be mindful of what you touch, because your very energy is consecrated. This is the moment the enemy feared. Not when you were weak, but when you realized your shaking wasn't death, it was resurrection. And now the trembling becomes thunder.